bowels of the earth, accessible only by Harrowgates. Sheol Gra, a holding tank for demon souls. The place where demon souls go until they can be reborn or kept in torturous limbo. Sheolic, universal demon language spoken by all, though many species speak their own language. Sigil, board of 12 humans known as elders, who serve as the supreme leaders of the Aegis. Based in Berlin, they oversee all Aegis cells worldwide. Tertaseo, demons who can pass as human, either because their species is naturally human in appearance, or because they can shapeshift into human form. Watchers, individuals assigned to keep an eye on the 4 horsemen. As part of the agreement forged during the original negotiations between angels and demons that led to Ares, Resif, Limos, and Thanatos being cursed to spearhead the apocalypse, one watcher is an angel, the other is a fallen angel. Neither watcher may directly assist any horseman's efforts to either start or stop Armageddon, but they can lend a hand behind the scenes. Doing so, however, may have them walking a fine line that, to cross, could prove worse than fatal. Chapter 1. Arik Wagner had to hand it to the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. They threw one hell of a party. Well, 3 of them did anyway. The 4th, whose name had been Resif before his seal broke and he became known as Pestilence, had been lying low since his defeat at the hands of his siblings, Ares, Limos, and Thanatos, a month earlier. The asshole and his demon army was no doubt regrouping, but for now, everyone was breathing a sigh of relief. Hence the celebration, which was part celebration for the victory, and part engagement party for Ares and his fiance Kara. Everyone who'd survived the battle had been invited to Ares' Greek mansion. Ares had also extended an invitation to the underworld general's staff, who had helped Kara when she'd been dying, so the place was crawling with demons. There were even a couple of angels roaming around. Reaver, who Arik had already decided was one big tool, was over by the chocolate fountain talking to a sparkly female angel named Gethel, who used to be the horseman's good watcher before Reaver took the job. The horseman also had an evil watcher named Harvester, but she hadn't been invited. Something about her being a world-class bitch who might eat the guests. Thanatos, the 4th horseman, bumped into Arik as he dove for a football someone had tossed from across the huge great room. "Watch it, dickhead," Arik muttered. "What's the matter, human?" Thanatos punched him in the shoulder with the ball, hard enough to make Arik stumble backward. "Ping-pong more your speed?" Arik shot Kynan Morgan, an old army buddy who was now one of the bigwigs in charge of the Aegis, an ancient demon-slaying organization, a "you ready to go or what" look, and Kai, who was deep in conversation with Ares, held up his finger. He and Arik had intended to stay no more than 10 minutes, since Kai wanted to get home to his wife, Jem, and their new baby. That was more than fine with Arik. If Arik spent another minute inside with these supernatural, superior asshats, he was going to slit his own throat. Also, if Limos, the drop-dead gorgeous female horseman, caught him leering at her one more time, she'd likely slit his throat for him. She might appear to be the definition of a sorority party girl, but under the skirts, nail polish, and flowers in her hair, she was every bit as dangerous as her brothers. No one seemed to be paying any attention to him, so he strolled out of the house and into the cool November night air. He'd always liked Greece, had visited a couple of times on military assignments. The food was good, the weather perfect, and the people weren't assholes to Americans. Sure, the Greeks had a high concentration of demons living among them, but some of the oldest countries did. Demons, being extremely long-lived, if not immortal, had a tendency to stay in the places they knew well. They really weren't all that adventurous.